to another significant results video for AP Statistics. Today we're going to be looking at Day 4 homework. One thing I'd like to say is I'd love to flash up the actual problems on the screen, but I don't want to display copyrighted material on the internet. It's not mine to do with as I please, but there's nothing to stop us from at least discussing the problems. It's perfectly fine for us to discuss the problems. So, let's go ahead and discuss our homework problems. Day 4 is all about displaying quantitative variables graphically. Day 1 we talked about classifying whether a variable is quantitative or if it is categorical. Day 2 we talked about ways to display categorical data, and if you remember, those were pie charts and bar graphs, and also pictographs as well, so long as we make sure our units are the same size. Okay. Day 3, it was another way to display, a really great way to display some categorical data, which was our two-way tables or marginal distribution tables. A little less graphical, but nevertheless a great way to display them. Today we're going to be displaying quantitative data, and we're going to be doing that through a couple different ways. Dot plots, which are great, and also maybe something that's new to you, maybe not, stem and leaf plots, which I think are really neat. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I need to clear off a little bit of space here. Let's see if I can't do that. Let's see here. Right. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with number 37. Number 37. Okay, so number 37, we're talking about students in a college statistics class. And it's mentioned how much sleep did you get last night. So we have a bunch of different results from a class, and I see that it varies from about 3 hours on the low side, which is pretty normal in college, I think, but depends what your major is, all the way up to 11 hours of sleep. So they want us to make a dot plot for part A. So that's definitely something that we can do here. Let's go ahead and make that dot plot. Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, so it looks like we had two people that reported 3 hours of sleep. We had two people report, let me get a little bit bigger brush here. So 1, 2, 4, two people reported 4 hours. Okay. We had one person report between 4 and 5 hours of sleep. We had one person report 5 hours of sleep. Let me see how many people we had report 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 people reported 6 hours of sleep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. One person reported between 6 and 7 hours. We had how many people? 7 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We had 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people record or report 8 hours of sleep. Okay. We had 3 people report 3 hours of sleep. One person reported 1 hour or 10 hours, and another person reported 11 hours. Okay, so we've made our dot plot with the data that was provided to us. B, they want us to describe the overall pattern of the distribution and departures from the pattern. So, what we're going to say here on this, for B, is that the pattern is roughly symmetric. Okay, so the pattern's roughly symmetric. And let's talk about skewness, okay? How is it skewed? Is it skewed to the left? Is it skewed to the right? Okay, so skewness is the tendency for a distribution to have a tail. And by tail I mean, is it sort of being pulled out farther to the right, or is it being pulled out farther to the left? And one way to do that is just to sort of draw a contour over your discrete data here. And so let's go ahead and sort of just draw a contouring. So there's our contour. And so if you had to say that this particular distribution had a tail leading off in one direction, we'd say that it's a tail going out positively. Or another way to mention that would be to the right. So we could say it has a positive skew, or you could say it has a right skew. So let's go ahead and mention that. Distribution is positive or right skewed. If the tail had been going off to the left or in a negative direction, we would have said it had a negative or a left skew. Alright, let's continue on. What else can we say about this particular dot plot? The hours of sleep vary from 3 to 11. So we have a minimum of 3 hours sleep to a maximum of 11 hours of sleep. And there's nothing on here that is like a significant significant outlier, but not particularly significant. I shouldn't use the word significant. There's nothing that appears to be an outlier. So it's not like we have this range and then there's one person way out here at 23 hours of sleep a day. That would probably be an outlier. 11 is starting to get out there a bit, but it's probably not an outlier. So I'm going to say there do not appear to be any obvious outliers. Alright, we'll be back with another video for number 39.